Did you know that some of the very fruits you choose every day, believing they're a cornerstone of your healthy diet, could actually be contributing to that unexplained weakness in your legs? Many seniors reach for fruit to stay vibrant and active, thinking they're making the absolute best choice for their well-being. But what if some of these colorful, seemingly innocent snacks are secretly playing a part in diminishing your leg strength, your balance, and even your mobility? That feeling of your legs being heavy as lead, or that wobble when you stand, isn't always just a sign of getting older. It can be a subtle distress signal from your body. And the surprising truth? The foods you've trusted for years might be part of the problem. It's a frustrating thought, isn't it? You're trying to do everything right, yet you still wonder why climbing a simple flight of stairs feels like a monumental task, or why your legs ache after a short walk. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on 5 popular fruits that, when consumed in certain ways or in certain quantities, especially as we mature, might be inadvertently working against your efforts to stay strong and independent. We'll explore how they could be affecting your blood sugar, your electrolyte balance, or even contributing to inflammation that leaves your legs feeling less than their best. Age might bring wisdom and experience, but it certainly doesn't mean you have to surrender the power in your stride. Now, this isn't about scaring you away from fruit altogether. Far from it. Fruit is packed with essential nutrients, but it is about understanding the nuances, the hidden details that often get overlooked. In the next few minutes, we'll uncover these potential traps, and more importantly, I'll share some simple, practical strategies, timing adjustments, smart pairings, so you can continue to enjoy nature's bounty without compromising your leg strength. Are you ready to learn how to make fruit work for you, not against you? If you find these kinds of deep dives into health useful, and you appreciate practical advice without a lot of confusing jargon, do me a favor. Tap that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to ring the notification bell. That way, you won't miss out on future insights to help you live your strongest life. And as we go, if a question pops into your head, or if you recognize one of your favorite fruits, drop a comment below. I do my best to read and respond. Let's start with a fruit that's a staple in many households, the humble banana. That soft, sweet banana, especially when it's speckled brown and perfectly ripe, seems like such an easy, healthy grab-and-go snack, doesn't it? It's often praised for its potassium content. But what if I told you that this very same fruit, particularly in its ripest state, could be quietly playing a role in that feeling of leg fatigue or weakness if you're not mindful? You see, as a banana ripens, its starches convert into simple sugars. That's what gives it that delicious sweetness. A very ripe, medium-sized banana can pack around 17 grams of sugar, and its glycemic index, a measure of how quickly it raises blood sugar, can be surprisingly high, sometimes reaching up to 65 or more. For many seniors, especially if you're managing blood sugar levels or have a family history of diabetes, such a rapid influx of sugar can lead to a quick energy spike, followed by an equally swift crash. And where do you often feel that crash first? That's right, in your legs, manifesting as heaviness, a sudden lack of pep, or even a subtle unsteadiness. It's your body's way of saying, "Whoa, that was a bit much, a bit too fast." Now, let's talk about that potassium. Bananas are indeed a good source, offering around 420 milligrams. For most, this isn't an issue. However, as we age, our kidney function can naturally become less efficient. Kidneys are crucial for filtering excess potassium from the blood. If your kidneys aren't working at their peak, or if you're taking certain common medications for blood pressure, like ACE inhibitors or some diuretics that are potassium sparing. Consuming too much potassium can lead to a condition called hyperkalemia, or high potassium levels in the blood. The National Kidney Foundation itself often cautions individuals with compromised kidney function to be mindful of high potassium foods like ripe bananas. And what are the symptoms of hyperkalemia? You guessed it, muscle weakness, sometimes numbness, and it often begins in the legs. It's an insidious problem because you might not connect it to your healthy banana habit. So, what's the smart approach here? Does this mean bananas are off the table? Not necessarily. Consider choosing bananas that are still a bit greenish-yellow. They have less sugar and a lower glycemic impact. And here's a crucial tip. Try to avoid eating a banana all by itself, especially on an empty stomach. Pair it with a source of protein or healthy fat, perhaps a spoonful of almond butter or a small handful of walnuts. This helps to slow down the absorption of sugar, giving you more sustained energy rather than that quick spike and subsequent crash. It's about making the banana a team player in your meal, not the solo star. Could this simple shift in how you consume bananas make a difference in how your legs feel throughout the day? Next up, let's consider a tropical delight: pineapple. That juicy golden pineapple, with its tangy, sweet taste, often feels like a burst of sunshine. It's refreshing for sure. But for those of us over 60, particularly if you're already dealing with joint stiffness or that persistent leg fatigue, could this vibrant fruit be harboring a downside? Pineapple, like many fruits, contains natural sugars. A cup of pineapple chunks has about 16 grams. Its glycemic index can also be in the moderate to high range, meaning it can cause a noticeable rise in blood sugar. And as we've discussed, those roller coaster blood sugar levels can translate directly to energy slumps that leave your legs feeling wobbly or uncooperative. But with pineapple, there's another layer, an enzyme called bromelain. Now, bromelain is often touted for its anti-inflammatory properties, and in certain contexts, that can be true. However, for some individuals, especially if you have a sensitive digestive system or pre-existing joint issues like arthritis, bromelain can actually be an irritant. Have you ever eaten a lot of fresh pineapple and felt a tingling or burning sensation in your mouth? That's the bromelain at work. Imagine then what it might be doing internally if you're particularly sensitive. It could potentially exacerbate inflammation in some people rather than soothe it, particularly if consumed in large quantities. If your joints are already achy or your legs feel inflamed, it's worth considering if pineapple might be a trigger for you. Furthermore, pineapple is quite acidic. Eating it on an empty stomach, which many do for a quick snack, can sometimes lead to digestive upset or heartburn. This discomfort, while seemingly unrelated to your legs, can impact your overall well-being and nutrient absorption, indirectly affecting your energy levels. And a little-known fact, bromelain can interact with certain medications, notably blood thinners like warfarin or even daily aspirin. It can potentially enhance their effects, which might lead to easier bruising or increased muscle tenderness, often noticeable in the lower limbs where circulation can already be a bit more challenged with age. It's one of those interactions that often flies under the radar. So what's the strategy with pineapple? If you enjoy it, opt for fresh over canned, as canned versions are often swimming in sugary syrup. Keep portions modest. Think a few chunks rather than a large bowl. And try to consume it with other foods to buffer its acidity and sugar impact. Most importantly, pay attention to your body. If you notice increased joint stiffness or leg discomfort after eating pineapple, it might not be a coincidence. Perhaps exploring fruits lower in acidity and with a gentler glycemic profile, like berries, could be a beneficial swap for you. Does this make you reconsider how often you reach for that pineapple? Let's move on to another tropical favorite, one that's often hailed as the king of fruits, the mango. Oh, the mango! Its luscious sweetness and vibrant color are undeniably appealing. But when you're navigating your senior years and focusing on maintaining energy and leg strength, could this delightful fruit be a bit too much of a good thing? A single cup of ripe mango can deliver a hefty dose of sugar. We're talking around 25 grams, which is quite significant. That's a rapid energy surge, but what goes up must come down, often leaving you feeling more tired and your legs heavier than before. This isn't just about a temporary energy dip. Consistent, sharp spikes and drops in blood sugar can contribute to a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation throughout the body. Scientific insights suggest that diets high in sugars like fructose, which is abundant in mangoes, can elevate inflammatory markers. Over time, this underlying inflammation can make it harder for your muscles to recover from activity and can even subtly contribute to muscle breakdown, a concern we all want to avoid as we age. Mangoes also have a relatively low fiber content compared to their sugar load, meaning that sugar gets absorbed into your bloodstream quite quickly. This rapid absorption can put stress on your circulatory system. If your leg circulation is already a bit compromised, which can happen with age or certain health conditions, these repeated sugar surges aren't doing your blood vessels any favors. This can subtly impact the nerves and tiny vessels that are so crucial for leg sensation and strength. Have you ever experienced unexplained tingling in your legs? While there can be many causes, managing blood sugar spikes is certainly a piece of the puzzle for overall nerve and vessel health. And here's something many people don't realize. Mangoes belong to the same plant family as poison ivy. They contain urushiol, the same compound that causes that itchy rash, primarily in the skin of the mango. While most people tolerate the flesh just fine, some sensitive individuals can experience mild allergic reactions, like itching around the mouth or even a more systemic inflammatory response. If your body is constantly fighting off even a mild allergen, it diverts energy and resources, which can contribute to overall fatigue and potentially impact muscle performance. So, the path forward with mangoes? Strategy is key. Think small portions, perhaps half a mango or just a few slices, not the whole fruit in one go. And again, that golden rule, pair it with protein or healthy fats. Some Greek yogurt or a few almonds alongside your mango can help slow down that sugar absorption and provide more stable energy. If you've ever felt unusually tired or noticed skin sensitivities after eating mango, your body might be sending you a message. Are you beginning to see a pattern here with how we approach these sweeter fruits? Now, let's talk about a more exotic-looking fruit, the lychee. These small, fragrant fruits, often found in desserts or canned in syrup, seem like a light, refreshing indulgence. But for older adults, especially if you're carefully managing blood sugar or have noticed episodes of muscle weakness, lychees might present an unexpected risk. Lychees are very high in quickly absorbed sugar. A cup can contain around 29 grams, with very little fiber to slow it down. Eaten alone, especially on an empty stomach or when you're already a bit low on energy, they can cause a rapid blood sugar spike followed by a significant crash. This sudden drop can leave you feeling quite shaky, foggy-headed, and your legs might feel suddenly weak or unstable. But the concern with lychees goes beyond just their sugar content. Lychees contain a naturally occurring compound called MCPG. This substance can interfere with your body's ability to produce glucose, especially when your blood sugar levels are already dipping. While severe cases are rare and often linked to undernourishment, the principle is relevant for seniors. As we age, our liver's ability to regulate glucose might not be as robust, and our muscles may not store as much glycogen. So, if you skip a meal or eat very lightly and then snack on lychees, you could be setting yourself up for an unnerving drop in blood sugar. And when your muscles are deprived of their primary fuel, glucose, what happens? Coordination suffers, strength wanes, and you might feel that unsettling weakness, particularly in your legs. If you take medications for diabetes, the risk of hypoglycemia from this interaction could be even more pronounced. It's a scenario where a seemingly harmless fruit could have quite a dramatic effect. And if you're consuming canned lychees, they are almost always packed in a heavy syrup, which dramatically increases the sugar load. That's a double whammy for your system. The advice here is similar. If you enjoy lychees, treat them as a very occasional small treat, ideally as part of a balanced meal that includes protein and fiber to stabilize your blood sugar. Never eat them on an empty stomach or if you've skipped meals. Have you ever experienced that sudden, unexplained weakness after eating certain fruits? Perhaps this sheds some light. Finally, let's look at a very common snack, often considered a healthy alternative to candy: raisins. Those tiny, chewy, dried grapes find their way into trail mixes, cereals, and baked goods. They're nature's candy, all right. But for those of us over 60, especially if leg cramps, swelling, or sudden weakness are concerns, could these concentrated little bites be problematic? Because raisins are dehydrated grapes, their sugar content is highly concentrated. A small quarter-cup serving can pack close to 30 grams of sugar. That's a significant sugar hit, and it can cause a rapid spike in blood sugar, followed by that all-too-familiar energy crash that can leave your leg muscles feeling drained and heavy. It's easy to eat a large handful without realizing just how much sugar you're consuming. But with raisins, there's another factor we need to consider. Much like with bananas, potassium. Raisins are surprisingly high in potassium, even more so than bananas by weight. A cup of raisins can contain a very substantial amount. Again, if your kidney function isn't what it used to be, or if you're on medications that affect potassium levels, this high intake can contribute to that risk of hyperkalemia we discussed earlier, with its associated muscle weakness often felt in the legs. The National Kidney Foundation often flags dried fruits, including raisins, as high potassium foods to be consumed with caution by those with kidney concerns. It's one of those healthy foods that might require a second look, depending on your individual health profile. Raisins are also calorically dense. That small handful that delivers so much sugar also delivers a fair number of calories, often without making you feel very full. If you're mindful of your weight to reduce strain on your joints and legs, these calorie-dense snacks can quietly add up. An extra weight invariably puts more stress on your leg muscles and joints, potentially exacerbating feelings of fatigue and instability. So, how to approach raisins? Think of them as a garnish rather than a primary snack. A few sprinkled on your oatmeal or in a salad can add a touch of sweetness without overloading your system. Avoid eating them by the handful straight from the box, especially if you're doing so on an empty stomach. And because they are dehydrated, ensure you're drinking plenty of water, as proper hydration is crucial for muscle function and preventing cramps. Could simply changing the quantity and context in which you eat raisins make a difference for you? So, as we've seen, even nature's healthiest offerings require a bit of wisdom and awareness, especially as our bodies change with age. The fruits we've discussed aren't bad, but the way we consume them, the quantity, the timing, the pairing, can make all the difference to our leg strength, energy levels, and overall vitality. The problem isn't the fruit itself, it's often how it fits into our unique metabolic puzzle. The key takeaway here is to become a mindful consumer. Start by paying closer attention. How do you feel after eating these fruits? Do you notice an energy slump an hour later? Do your legs feel heavier or more prone to cramping? Your body often sends subtle signals. Our job is to learn to listen to them. Consider smaller portions. Think about pairing these sweeter fruits with protein or healthy fats to slow sugar absorption. And perhaps most importantly, don't assume that because something is natural, it's beneficial in unlimited quantities or in every circumstance. This knowledge empowers you. It's not about restriction, it's about making informed choices that support your goal of staying strong, mobile, and independent for as long as possible. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Small, consistent adjustments can lead to significant improvements in how you feel. Maybe it's opting for berries more often, or ensuring you always have some nuts with your banana. These simple shifts can truly make a difference. What are your thoughts on this? Did any of these fruits surprise you? Have you noticed any connections between what you eat and how your legs feel? I'd genuinely love to hear your experiences or any questions you might have in the comments below. Sharing our journeys helps us all learn and grow. And if you found this discussion valuable and you're keen to uncover more practical, science-backed insights for thriving in your senior years, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with someone who might benefit, and be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Your journey to feeling your best doesn't have to be complicated, it just needs to be informed. Stay steady, stay strong, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.